Welcome to the Chris Rocket Podcast. I am Chris Rocket. Another week down the drain. I decided I'm just going to hop right into reacting from week number 2. Of course, they're starting the NHL preseason. You know, they shut down my freaking NFL games plug on YouTube, man. I got to find another way to do it. Watching the games and everything. That shit was fun while it lasted, though, man. I was wondering why they was up for so long. They did every preseason game all the way up to week 2. I think that was a damn nice run. 6 weeks, man. I think that was pretty good, man. That was incredible. 6 weeks until they finally shut them down. I'm gonna see if I can stream some hockey games, man. So me and Joe Killmeyer, man, we can talk some hockey, man. Like I really want to talk some hockey because I like hockey more than what people think. I like hockey. So whenever I find that plug, man, I'm gonna dive in some hockey. But right now, we're gonna dive into these week 2 reactions. And surprisingly, man, the predictions I did for these games last week, they were super close, man. I wish I would have put money on this. But let's start with the Thursday night game. We're going to start with the Houston Texans versus the Cincinnati Bengals on the Thursday night game. Houston came out the winner, 13-9. Houston ran the ball very well, 168 yards rushing. Deshaun Watson was outstanding. He started instead of Tom Savage. I think that decision was made like a day after the game from last week. He was 15-24, 125 yards, including a 49-yard touchdown run. For Cincinnati, it's just another week without an offensive touchdown. As good as their offense is, their offense needs Jesus. In the Pittsburgh-Minnesota game, Pittsburgh came out top 26-9. Minnesota started without Sam Bradford. Case Keenum started. Pittsburgh did a good job of getting Le'Veon Bell the ball early. Last game, he wasn't really as much as involved in the game. Did very well. Came out on top. The defense was smothering Case Keenum. He had no time to throw for most of the game. Pittsburgh, just how many people picked Pittsburgh to lose this game? They definitely dominated from start to finish. Tampa Bay, Chicago. Tampa Bay came on top 29-7 in this game. Chicago only had 20 yards rushing, including 2 lost fumbles. Basically, they're being smothered this whole game. The thing I was worried about with Tampa Bay coming in this game, with this being their first game and having that extra week, I kind of thought they'll come out sluggish. Part of me was. And then, like I said last episode, either they're going to come out sluggish or they're going to come out ready to play football. Obviously, they came out to play football. Mike Evans caught a nice touchdown in the corner end zone. He had 7 catches, 93 yards. Mike Glennon had 301 yards and 2 interceptions in a losing effort. Tampa Bay came out on top 29-7. On to the Ravens and the Browns. The Ravens came out on top 24-10. Deshaun Kaiser had 3 interceptions and left with a migraine. I guess that's what 3 interceptions does for you. I have no idea how he got that migraine. Must have been a hit. But Cleveland turned the ball over 5 times, and of course, you turn the ball over that many times, you're destined to lose. As I stated back in the preseason, this Baltimore defense is stingy. One statistical notes for that side of the ball: Brandon Carr got an interception. As a Cowboys fan, damn it, Brandon Carr, you couldn't do that for us, man. You couldn't do that for us at all. But anyway, I'm happy for you. And Tyus Bowser, congratulations, got his first career sack. He also got an interception. Everybody was on the interception party, hell. Because Kaiser threw 3 and the backup came in and threw 1. Like I said, Baltimore came on top 24-10. New England and New Orleans, the battle of the news. That was corny as fuck. But anyway, New England, they're dropping like flies over there, man. So many injuries in this game. Hogan was hobbled. You had Gronk with the groin. Dorsett left. They were like literally down to, I think, 2 dressed wide receivers. They had fullback split outside. I don't know. That's probably their regular offense. But, hey, I found it strange. But luckily, they got 38 running backs. You know what I'm saying? They can actually catch the ball. And, hey, it worked. Bill Belichick, he's like, hey, whatever, next man up. We're going to put you in offense. Of course, every guy on that side of the ball knows every fucking play, knows where everybody's at. I wouldn't be surprised if he put Devlin at the freaking center. That's just how of a mad scientist he is. But This game was over like in the very beginning, and of course the score, it looks closer than what it really was. New England is just not going to stop. Of course, I don't think it's serious with the Gronk injury, but it's just amazing, what they did going up 30-13 at halftime. It's really just amazing how they just keep doing it. Kevin Hogan was doing this thing, even bum ankle and all. Some statistical notes: Brady over 400 yards passing, Gillingsley 69 yards off 18 carries and a touchdown. Gronkowski, before he had that groin injury, had over 100 yards, 6 for 116. James White, 8 for 85, but what's new with him? He's going to always catch the ball. You look at this, 2, 4, 6, 9 players caught at least one pass. Brandon Cooks, however, had 2 for 37. I feel like once they figure it out, it's just gonna be very dangerous, man. But New England came on top 36-20. The Kansas City Philly game, it turned out to be a very, very good game against two very good teams. Kansas City came on top 27-20. This game was pretty much as evenly as you can get. Time of possession was very even. Philly came out, on the higher end of that. But you look at that. These two teams. These two teams are very, losses like this is not going to hurt their psyche. Because Philly, either way it goes, they were running the ball. Wentz actually, showed some wheels in this game. Had 4 carries for 55 yards and yet another 300-yard game. Darren Sproles looked like he took a bulk of the carries, 10 for 48. Zach Ertz and Alshon he had all the weapons out today and just came up short. But like I said, in a game like this where you're going against another good team, this is just like a test. And I think they did pretty well, man. They was hanging with them, all the way through. They was getting to the quarterback. They were, putting a lot of pressure on Alex Smith, containing that running game as best as they could until, Kareem Hunt, broke out for that 53-yard touchdown, and Travis Kelce did his thing. Kareem Hunt with 81 yards rushing, but when you look at him run, it just really didn't seem that way, right? But he had 2 touchdowns, had another 28 yards receiving. This Kansas City team looks like it's just humming, man. But in that AFC West, it's gonna be tough, man. Score: Kansas City 27, Philly 20. In the Tennessee-Jacksonville game, I thought this game was going to be closer than what I thought it was, but it's a good thing that I go with my big fat gut in this game. Everybody overreacted over the Jacksonville victory the last time. They're like, oh shit, this is the Jacksonville team we're talking about. No. What was the thing I was always worried about when it comes to Jacksonville Jaguars? Freaking Blake Bortles. And what did Blake Bortles do tonight? 2 interceptions. In the first half, he was 5 for 12 for 41 yards. And of course, your stats are gonna be it'll fluctuate when you're losing, right? Because all you're doing is throwing it. But Bortles is trash. He ended up with a fairly decent completion percentage, 20 for 34, 223 yards, 1 touchdown. But those 2 interceptions, and he had another 29 yards on the ground. But you cannot constantly play with average quarterback play. Your defense the defense did its job. It helped Tennessee to 6 points in the first half. It was 6-3 at halftime. That offense needs to help out their defense, and of course the defense, you leave. You get so many freaking, you leave them on the field, they're going to get tired, and they're going to give a play or two. And I would say, the floodgates open, and Tennessee took advantage of that. Derrick Henry broke out. Yeah, they held DeMarco Murray in check for 25 yards, but, Derrick Henry came into play. The defense was getting turnovers. You can't win in that sort of thing in Jacksonville, man. Let this be a lesson to everybody. Look at that team. It is that quarterback, man. Put Chad Henne in. You know, let him manage the game. He doesn't make mistakes, man. It's okay to kick field goals, but at the end of the day, you still going down the field, running clock, keeping your defense fresh. Yes, you know, touchdowns are better than field goals, but it's better than 3 and outs, and that's what Border was doing all freaking game. The score in this game, 37-16, Tennessee, and Jacksonville is, you know, that win is just pretty much like void now, man, because everybody's like, oh, okay, well, back to normal. In the Arizona Indianapolis game, excuse me. This was a very good game, very tight game, very defensive game. Indianapolis had control early, man, with Jacoby Brissett at the helm, starting in place of Tolzien. It was 10-3 at halftime. You know, I'm sitting there like, what the hell are they doing over there in Arizona? With the injury to David Johnson, the Cardinals signed Chris Johnson. Of course, he's been there before. He's familiar with the offense, so that makes sense. Fairly decent day, 11 for 44. Carson Palmer, not a great passing day as far as percentage-wise. Almost 50% passing, probably 51 point something. 19 to 36, 332 yards. Yes, that's nice, but you know, hitting on deep balls is not really going to get it done all the time. J.J. Nelson over 100 yards receiving. This game was pretty much in the control of the Colts until Brissett threw a late interception to the Honey Badger when they really should have just ran the fucking ball. I mean, but at the end of the day, you know, stop them in overtime. Oh, but they fumbled and gave, you know, Arizona short field position, and of course ultimately win the game. I'm really concerned with Arizona. This offense looks very stagnant without David Johnson. Yes, they got the win, but this is the fucking Indianapolis Colts, man. You know, you got a Hall of Fame wide receiver. Yes, he's up there in age, and you got nice young receivers. You have a very efficient offense and a very underrated offensive line led by Jared Veld here. But you're not supposed to just put up 16 points, let alone only 3 points in the first half against a team like the Indianapolis Colts. They got good pieces on their defense, man, you know, but, you know, for an offense like that predicates on, you know, discipline. They're a very disciplined team on that offense, you know, despite not having David Johnson. But when you have a guy like Carson Palmer, and you have receivers like, you know, John Brown, Larry Fitzgerald, you have a very reliable tight end in Jermaine Gresham, you should be able to go down the field methodically. You don't have to get it all in one whop. You should be able to score more than 16 points. And of course, in that division, in that NFC West, you can't be tiptoeing. This win looks nice on the record. You can't be doing it against Seattle. You can't even do this against the Rams, because the Rams look like they'll probably throw up 30 on you if you're not careful. Arizona wins still 16-13 in overtime. Coming up on the Chris Rocket Podcast, we got more of this Week 2 reaction. We're going to do the other games, all the way down to the Sunday night game and the Monday night game and the massacre that is for the fucking New York Giants. I should be jumping up for joy, but we might have to pray for Eli Manning. You're listening to the Chris Rocket Podcast.
Tiny brain conservative Jock Cranley is at it again, using negative attack ads, calling Sue Murray names that rhyme with front and scratch. Who do you trust to get this state back on track? A drug-addled, philandering former stuntman with multiple concussions? Or a successfully divorced schoolteacher who knows how to talk down to normal people like a real liberal? Sue Murray has been talking down to people for years, and now she wants to talk down to you. Sue has a simple plan to get the state of San Andreas back on its feet again. A massive increase in government spending and a big investment in public radio. Using a minimum 49% federal tax and a 25% state tax, Sue's team of top-level educators and accountants will make the big investments everyone needs in government entitlements. Get what you deserve from the person who knows best. Vote for Sue Murray for governor.
I'm Sue Murray, and I approve this message. Hi, I'm Sue Murray, and I want to be your next governor. I know how to lead from the front. I used to be a school teacher. I know what's best for San Andreas. Many of our leaders aren't doing their homework or studying like they should. You're not living up to your full potential. I know how to use third-grade academic terms and talk down to a room of hyperactive, immature morons to get what I want. I can get things done. I'll make sure the 1% looks after the rest of us like they should. That you get what you deserve from people that work hard. Vote for me for governor.
Welcome back to the Chris Rocket Podcast, and let's jump right back into the rest of these games from week number 2. In the Buffalo versus Carolina Panthers game, this was a very low-scoring game, 9-3 Carolina. Very unfortunate news in this game. Greg Olsen left with a foot injury, and now it has been said that he has a broken foot and has been put on IR, has surgery, and he looks to be out probably 6 to 8 weeks, so he probably come back in probably late December, just in time for the playoffs, if they make the playoffs. They're definitely going to miss him, man. This game pretty much was a slugfest between, two pretty decent defenses. Of course, we all know K1 short on that Carolina defensive line, but here's the crazy part. Panthers dominated in time of possession, 38 minutes to 21 minutes. So you got to kind of ask yourself, okay, what was the damn deal, man? You get all these first downs. Nobody turned the ball over. It's just a matter of executing, man. You dominate in time of possession and you're only able to score 9 points. That, and then you're doing all of this and you're going to be without arguably your best receiver for the next few months. And to add insult to injury, Kevin Benjamin only had one catch in the second half. 6 for 77, pretty decent stats, man. But, somebody has to step up, and I think it's going to be Devin Funchess, man. Devin Funchess needs to, and I've been on Devin Funchess for a long time, man. Ever since he was at Michigan, man. He's a big fucking dude, man. He's like 6'90", and he doesn't have to do much. 60 catches, 800 yards. Just make it at least. Make defenses at least say, "Oh, there he is over there." All they doing is saying, "Oh, that's Devin. Leave him open." But in Olsen's absence, they do have Ed Dixon, who's a pretty decent tight end. Just as fast, if not faster, but Greg Olsen is Greg Olsen. The chemistry between him and Cam is second to none. Christian McCaffrey, if you're wondering, he only had 10 yards rushing, 4 catches, 34 yards receiving. He's probably going to have to fill that receiving void as well. But 9 points. 9 points without your best player, But, give credit to Buffalo. They played a very good defensive game. Carolina came on top, 9-3. In the Oakland Jets game, do I really got to tell you how to score? Because, I guess it's really not important. We all know the Jets lost, right? So that part we got that understood. Okay, gotcha. We all got that understood. Jets won. Jets won. Gee, how many times are we going to say that this year? None. But the Raiders won. And, surprisingly for the Jets, they wasn't as horrible as, I thought. But the score would say otherwise. But, Josh McCown, 166 yards, 2 touchdowns. Matt Forte ran the ball pretty well. Jermaine Kearse, 2 touchdowns, man. Maybe that's the shot. He's the shot in the arm for that team, man. But I still feel like a Darius Stewart needs to just come out of his shell, man. Two fumbles lost. They ain't gonna get it done, man. But the Raiders just ran all over them, man. I don't even know why the Jets even got off the damn bus. Rashard Cordell Patterson was running all over them. Lynch was running all over them. Crabtree just treated their cornerbacks like they were stuck in mud. 3 touchdown catches, man, and it was over. It was over early. The halftime score was only 21-10, but I mean, everybody and their mama know that the Raiders are going to win. I mean, the Jets can play Northwestern State, and the Jets will still lose. If you're a Jets fan out there, I do not apologize. Y'all are tanking. I mean, it sucks that Bryce Petty is out, but I was really rooting for Bryce Petty. But Oakland comes out on top 45-20. 40 piece. Miami and the Chargers. This is the game where, I mean, if you're a Chargers fan, man, I feel your pain. I'm a very, sometimes I get sarcastic, but this is nothing to play with. I feel for y'all, man. Another loss where you gave up the lead. Well, I wouldn't say give up the lead. Miami just took it. But when you only have 44 yards rushing, that's not gonna get it done, man. And Miami, to their credit, Jay Cutler did his thing, and Devontae Parker, I predicted that was going to be his guy. 4 for 85, really good game. Surprisingly, Jarvis Landry, 13 catches, man. I wonder how many targets he got, but you can see that he's trying to, involve in the offense. And Kenny Stills got the touchdown, 29-yard touchdown. We ain't got to worry about the running game. The running back is going to be fine. And as Omar, for the Dolphins beat writer Omar, he calls it the unicorn offensive line, and he's right. Every time they get it done. J.J. 122 yards, and like I said, for the Chargers, 44 yards rushing. Melvin Gordon, he did score a touchdown, but 9 carries, 13 yards. Come on now. Phillip Rivers can't do it all by himself. Very efficient day, 31-39, 331 yards and a touchdown. That touchdown came up to Antonio Gates, who became the all-time leader in touchdowns for tight ends. Congratulations to him. I'm very happy for him. And look at it, Hunter Henry, 7 for 80. I got him on my fantasy football team. Maybe I need to go ahead and start him a little bit. Go ahead and put him in my starting lineup. But I got Gronk. So, and then I'm pretty good at, I'm good at wide receiver. So I might just, I'm about to use him a little bit. I'm about to go ahead and start him a couple weeks. Use him as a placeholder. But now he's over here producing, and I like it. But yeah, man, another really close loss for the Chargers, man. Miami, I was worried that they might not be ready, just like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Having that early unorthodox week 1 bye. All the byes really start, week 4 and beyond. But, well, really week 4 to week 12. But Miami came out to play, started out slow, but they got the win, 19-17. I feel so bad for you, Chargers. Next up, we got the NFC West showdown between the Seahawks and the Niners. Score was very close than people thought. 12-9, Seattle wins, and I've said this before about this San Francisco team, man. They're gonna make things interesting in a lot of games, and of course, with these division games, people know each other, man. But it's weird because this San Francisco team is different from the last year. They got the biggest turnover in regards to personnel, but more than any team in the NFL. This game was very one-sided. First down, Seattle won that 21-11. Seattle. San Francisco ran the ball very well, 159 yards rushing, but that passing game, it just wasn't there all day. Brian Hoyer, 15 completions, but only 99 yards. He spreaded the ball around a lot, but he really just couldn't, get anything, down the field. Carlos Hyde had a 61-yard run. He finished with more than 100 yards. Their defense was very stingy, and Eddie Pastry, he didn't even dress. He was a healthy scratch. So, Chris Carson ran the ball really well. 20 carries, 93 yards. Russell Wilson, he did he had an okay day. Got in a little trouble, 23 or 39, but He did not turn the ball over. Spreaded the ball around as he should. Tyler Lockett was the leading receiver with 6 catches, 64 yards. But, this game was a very stingy game, man. Everybody was getting in on the action. Seattle wins 12-9. Next is a very good game between the Washington Redskins and the LA Rams, man. Washington needed to bounce back from their loss the previous week, man. They were up big at halftime, 20-10, and they never looked back after that. Yeah, Rams made it interesting at the very end, and Redskins really broke out. They ran the ball damn good, man. 229 yards rushing, and the thing that always worried me, man, when it came to the Los Angeles Rams, what kind of running game are they going to get? What kind of Todd Gurley were they going to get? Todd Gurley came through with 88 yards, touchdown. Jared Goff was pretty, he was pretty efficient. But the thing that really got them, the defense couldn't get off the field. Redskins led in time of possession, 36 minutes. 36 minutes being on the field, of course you're going to lose. And of course, turn the ball over here and there, you're going to lose. Redskins forced 2 turnovers. They got the game. But they broke out, running three running backs over 60 yards. Pete Ryan with 67. Chris Thompson, 2 touchdowns, 77 yards off of 3 carries, and then Big Rob Kelly, 78 yards. They was running that motherfucker down their throat, and Kirk Cousins really had to do that much, man. He just needed to manage the game, 179 yards and a touchdown. Washington Redskins stayed within. They're actually still tied for the lead with the Cowboys and the Eagles at 1-1. They beat the Rams 27-20 in a game that I kind of sort of don't want to talk about, but hey, this is sports and I'm unbiased, but I got to talk about it. The Cowboys and the Broncos, man. This was a game where it was hard to watch, but I knew at some point it was going to happen to my boys. You run into a really, really stout team up front that's going to stop one aspect of your offense. They stopped Zeke. Zeke only had 8 yards rushing. We had 40 yards as a team. And it didn't help that, the Broncos ran the ball well. Anderson over 100 yards. Jamal Charles ran the ball well. And, they just pretty much just killed us, man. Dak couldn't get anything down the field. 30 of 50 passes for only 230 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, including a late pick 6 to Aqib Talib that broke my damn heart. Jason Witten, 10 catches, 97 yards. Dad scored 7 catches, 59 yards. But this is just predicated off the Denver defense, man. It ain't nothing to do with, Zeke being distracted or anything like that. At least that's how I look at it. Denver is a really good defense, and they kicked our ass. And of course, we were making dumb mistakes. There was a time where, the Broncos kicked a field goal, and Tank Lawrence, who had 2 sacks and a forced fumble, man, great game, but one bonehead leveraging penalty turned that field goal into a touchdown, and they just never looked back after that. We ended up getting the interception, but like I said, it's too little, too late. Jordan Lewis, who I was really high on coming out of Michigan, but this is a good learning curve for the young guys on the offensive line, or not the offensive line, but the young guys on the Dallas offense. You get smacked in the mouth, you come back against Arizona, and you regroup. But Denver, to their credit, they hit them in the mouth. And they got the win. This is the kind of win that wakes you up. I hope it wakes them up. Score again, 42-10, Denver win. Dallas still maintains the lead of the NFC East. I guess that's, consolation, I guess. But Denver wins 42-17. And a great matchup between the Green Bay Packers and Atlanta Falcons, man. Atlanta rolled over the Green Bay Packers early. It was 24-7 at halftime. Green Bay was never, they couldn't get it going on the ground. And of course, when you're down that early, man, you abandon the run, and you just got to do what you got to do. The penalties killed them. They had 10 penalties for 70 yards, and of course the 2 turnovers added to that. Atlanta was just killing them down the field, man. You had two main receivers, Julius Jones and Muhammad Sanu, man, combined for 193 yards out of 10 catches. You know, that's 19 yards a whop. So they were just getting it down the field. Devontae Freeman, you know, doing it on the ground. Tevin Coleman, 6 for 42. Matt Ryan didn't really have to do anything. You know, his yards per attempt was, you know, way up there, man. 252 yards off only 28 attempts. They pretty much rolled over the Packers. The score, 34-23. And finally, in the Monday night game against the Detroit Lions and the New York Giants, Detroit completely destroyed. Yes, I'm going to say completely destroyed, despite what the score says. Detroit beat the Giants 24-10, but the destroyed part is on part of Eric Flowers trying to get Eli Manning, like, killed out there. I mean, I knew he was bad. And credit to, you know, Ziggy Ansah is a very good pass rusher. Let's put that out there. Ziggy Ansah is not a scrub. Ziggy Ansah isn't just some guy off the practice squad that they just plugged in there due to injury. Ziggy Ansah does his thing. 10-sack guy yearly. Well, 8-sack guy yearly. He's no scrub. But when you pass rush and you're able to slap this dude hand down like he's some little kid who's eating something off the ground, and then you fall, and then you get bull rushed, and then, you know, one simple swim move and you're 6'7", Eric. I'm talking to Eric Flowers. If you're listening to this, I'm talking to you right now. You are going. I was talking to this one Giants fan, and he was like, Eli is going to sue Eric Flowers for conspiracy to murder. And I laughed my ass off because I saw the clips he was sending me for, like, people on Twitter reacting to the fact that Eric Flowers is going to get Eli Manning killed back there, man. And as I'm looking at the defensive stats, Ziggy Ansah had 3 sacks. A total of 6 sacks as a team for the Detroit Lions. But, geez, I mean, I don't even know how many hits that it had, you know, because, of course, I don't have cable. I was going to look at it, but, you know, the YouTube channel was shut down. But shut up, y'all. Matt Stafford didn't even have to do anything. 122 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Amir Abdullah, 86 yards on the ground. The leading receiver for this is what I'm talking about. The leading receiver for the Lions was who? Take a guess. If you said Golden Tate, you're wrong. If you said Marvin Jones, you're wrong. If you said Kenny Galladay is a good choice, it was a good check. It was a good guess. But you're wrong. Eric Ebron was the fucking leading receiver. 5 catches, 42 yards, and a touchdown. Shout out to Eric Ebron. You know, do your thing, man. You're a talented tight end, man. But, you know, you just got to do that shit consistently. Once again, freaking Giants can't run the ball. You know, it wasn't like they were, you know, down a bunch of points, you know. Down 17-7 at halftime, you know, 7-0 after the first quarter. You know, you got to protect Eli Manning. You know, he's not like Peyton Manning where, you know, he can kind of matriculate himself in the pocket like that. I think Eli Manning has crutches for legs, if that makes sense. Eric Flowers, I need you to go to I need you to go to Eli Manning's house, knock on the door, apologize, have your mom or your grandma. By the way, if they're dead, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make light of their deaths or whatever, but get somebody that makes a good fucking nice southern chicken fried steak, because them Manning boys are from the South. Or just, you know, give Eli Manning a nice watch or something, because you're going to get him killed, man. But, of course, as a Cowboys fan, I love it because the Giants are 0-2. So, with that being said, keep doing your thing, Eric Flowers. Detroit wins 24-10. And that completes my recap for week number 2. Coming up in the Chris Rocket podcast, we're going to do a preview for week number 3. By the way, my results from my picks from week number 2, I went 13-3. Congratulations to Roy. He went 15-1. And for a while, my boy Rogers was undefeated. Nobody's ever went undefeated in the picks crew in a week, but we did a damn good job. Kill, I know you're down on yourself over there. You know, it happens to us all, man. Slow start. You a second half guy. You're gonna come back with the pat. But congratulations to Roy, week two winner, 15-1. 15-1. Impressive. You'll listen to the Chris Rocket podcast.
This is Weasel News.
Los Santos traffic is so bad that one woman carpools with a dead body. What will it take for you to use public transit?
Transit News.
When police pulled over a car on the Del Perro freeway, they discovered a decomposing body in the passenger seat, which turned out to be the woman's dead husband. One witness on the scene told reporters,
"I looked over and the car was full of flies."
The woman said she had every intention of burying the body soon, but she wanted a last few days in the carpool lane.
The Los Santos Transportation Authority announced a new campaign to encourage people to take public transit.
We know many of you feel that only losers take the bus or train in this town, and in many ways that's true. But what will it take for you to leave your car at home and take the bus? What do you want? On-time arrivals? Regular service? Strippers on the buses? Well, we're not doing any of that.
The Transit Authority promised a new TV commercial that will turn things around.
This was Weasel News. Weasel News.
Bring your assault rifle to work day. Canceled.
A celebrity ghost is spooking guests at a local hotel.
Second Amendment activists and gun nuts were horrified after Bring Your Assault Rifle to Work Day was canceled. The annual Friday Jamboree, in which gun enthusiasts show high-caliber weaponry to coworkers, has been a hit for the past 5 years. Although last year, there were 109 deaths associated with the event. Lobbyists are already campaigning to bring back concealed handgun Thursdays in parts of the Midwest.
Movie News.
The famous Gentry Manor Hotel has been the site of many a celebrity overdose or adulterous romantic encounter since it opened in the 1920s. Many guests say that the hotel is haunted. Tourist Janine Swanson told us she was disappointed at her celebrity ghost encounter.
Please, celebrity ghosts are just as boring as the real live ones. They just roam around erotically talking about themselves.
That was Weasel News.
Welcome back to the Chris Rocket podcast. I hope everybody's enjoying their week so far, man. Got a lot of shit going on, man. You know, hope everybody's safe. Hope everybody's recovering from the hurricanes. I know there's more out there, man. You know, if anything, you know, hopefully we learn good evacuation plans. You know, whether you're, you know, leaving the state, leaving the city, or staying home, have an emergency plan. You know, have an emergency plan in case of these, you know, storms that's coming up. It don't even have to be a hurricane. It could be a tornado. It could be hail. It could be, you know, any kind of thing. Fire drill. You know, have a plan with your family, and, you know, be safe out there. You know, because this is peak hurricane season. This is, you know, storms can happen at any time, and of course, you know, there are things that's happening that is not within our control, but someone controls it, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. But I'm gonna make my predictions for week number 3 in the NFL, and I will tell you this as a disclaimer: there are a lot of games this week where I swear to you, I might just switch probably 5 or 6 of them. It's that much of a toss-up. Is that this year is another weird season, and you know, part of it is like, you know, this is, you know, there's a new wave of talent coming through. You got young guys starting. You got, you know, people getting pushed out the way for other people. You got injuries. You know, you got, you know, overreaction for the first week, and then the second week happens. Then you're like, okay, then what kind of team is this? But I'm gonna try to do my best when it comes to this. Starting with the Thursday night game, we got the Rams against the Niners. I'm gonna go with the Rams. I'm gonna put my little faith in the Rams to see they're gonna come out on top on that. Looking at the Niners going against the Seahawks, man. Solomon Thomas, of course, we all knew he was going to be good. Seeing them go after Russell Wilson like that, it's encouraging. And of course, with a team like the Rams, where you don't even know what team is going to show up sometimes, for the most part, they've been holding serve. They've been, running the ball pretty good. It's just, what team is going to show up, and I think I'm gonna put my faith in the Rams to beat the Niners next week. Moving on to the game that's in London, Baltimore and Jacksonville. I got Baltimore. That defense is going to smother Blake Bortles. This will be the game where I feel like Bortles will be benched for the rest of the season. Mark that down. You cannot go through the season with that kind of quarterback play. This is the game, and I hope Terrell Suggs hears me. T-Sizzle, go get Blake Bortles. Put in Chad Henne. Let Blake Bortles just learn from the sidelines, man. I think Baltimore's going to get the win over Jacksonville. Cleveland versus the Colts. This was a toss-up. This is one of the toss-ups for me. But, of course, now it's easier now because Kaiser, I don't know how he's going to go with that migraine. Now, if he's cleared to play, I am going to go with Cleveland. But then Brissett, now, I got Indianapolis right here. But if Kaiser plays, I'm going with Cleveland. Because Brissett, he's a young guy. He did a bonehead play. I still feel like, he might end up doing that. If Kaiser plays, I am going to go with Cleveland. But as of right now, I don't know anything about Kaiser. I don't know if he's going to play or not. I got Indianapolis right now. But if Kaiser plays, I'm going with Cleveland. New York and Philly, classic division game. I thought long and hard about this. I was just thinking to myself, like, there's no way in the world the Giants, the great offense of the Giants, no way they go 0-3. Until I saw Eric Flowers. And then the Philadelphia defense, who, when it comes to division games, gives no F's about the other team. They're going to get, and then of course, they saw the same film that was shown to everybody else. And of course, with that being a nationally televised game, that's a Monday night game, so everybody's watching. Everybody saw that turnstile that is Eric Flowers. And I think that right there is going to, besides that, New York can't run the ball against Philly. I don't think New York is going to be able to run the ball against Philly. So Philly is going to win. I think that is going to be a blowout. I think there's going to be a 40-piece alert for the Giants. You're going to get put it with a 40-piece. Miami versus the Jets. Should I waste my time against the Jets? No? Okay. Miami wins. All right. Denver versus Buffalo. This is a very good game, but I think Denver wins this game basically because of the offense. Buffalo's going to run the ball really good. Well, I don't know. Since we couldn't run the ball, maybe they won't run the ball. But if in this game, if Buffalo ends up rushing pretty decently, I'm going to have to look at Zeke now. This is a game I'm going to be watching very closely. So I'm going to find some kind of stream for this game. But I got Denver beating Buffalo next week. Another division game, we got the Saints going against the Panthers. I feel like with the loss of Greg Olsen, the first game back, you really got to feel for yourself. Without him, I know New Orleans, they don't have, they already don't have cover linebackers, and I think Ed Disson might get loose a couple times, but I feel like New Orleans was embarrassed, and I feel like going against a division team, and of course they got to get back on track, so they're going to try to look to bounce back against Carolina, and I think Carolina's going to be a little bit overwhelmed with the loss of Greg Olsen. New Orleans going to win over Carolina. Next, we got Pittsburgh and Chicago. I got Pittsburgh. It's basically just, that Pittsburgh defense is just so exotic, man. And the blitz packages, it's going to overwhelm Mike Glennon. Mike Glennon might end up throwing it for probably 250 plus. And only because they're going to be losing early and, you got to, get it back some kind of way. Pittsburgh over Chicago. Atlanta and Detroit. This is just a classic game of talent. Atlanta's more talented than Detroit. You know, the defense, Atlanta has a better defense. Running game, Atlanta has a better running game. And of course, I mean, the passing game is, I mean, you might just call it a push. I mean, Atlanta tight end and Eric Ebron for the Lions. Wide receiver wise, you can make a case that, you know, Detroit has a better group. Detroit has a better group. Who has a better player? Atlanta, of course. But the better group, Detroit. They're 3 deep. Atlanta, Julio. Taylor Gabriel comes in and out, you know. But Atlanta's going to win this game handily. Next, Tampa Bay, Minnesota. I got Tampa Bay. This is another game where I'll be like, you know, is hanging on something. If Sam Bradford plays, I might just think about switching this game, but I might just stick to my guns and stay with Tampa Bay just because I just like Tampa Bay. I like Tampa Bay's team. I like their makeup. Houston versus New England. New England easily. You know, you got a young quarterback. Very simple offense, which means, you know, Matt Patricia is going to throw a couple things at him, you know, and that Patriots team, you know, it hasn't forgot about that Chiefs game. You know, it's going to, you know, use this as like, you know, we ain't as bad as people say we are. So I feel like they're going to throw some different things at him, make Watson think, and when he thinks he's going to make a mistake, either that or he's just going to try to, you know, be Superman. And I think New England's going to probably get a couple turnovers, and they're not going to look back from that. New England's going to win that game. Seattle, Tennessee. Seattle, I got Seattle winning that game. I think this is going to be a defensive game, man. I really do. Tennessee has an underrated defense, and I think Seattle is going to squeak it out at the end. Maybe a field goal, maybe not. Maybe a late touchdown with probably 1.5 minutes left. But this is going to be a very defensive game. I got Seattle winning. Bengals at the Packers. There's no way in hell, you know, the Bengals are going to figure things out versus Green Bay. I just can't do it, especially after the fact that Green Bay just got embarrassed by the Falcons. Bengals, y'all need to figure that out against another team. So, but let's hope Bengals finally score a touchdown in this game because they haven't scored all season. So let's root for them scoring a touchdown because they're not winning the game. I got Green Bay beating them. Classic AFC West matchup. Chiefs versus the Chargers. I wish I could pick the Chargers in this game, but I think the Chiefs, man, the emerging star, Kareem Hunt, I think he's going to get it done again. Chiefs is going to win over them. The Sunday night game, we got the Raiders and the Redskins, man. Oh, my brother's going to kill me. I got the Raiders. Why? Because, you know, you got Khalil Mack coming around that right tackle. And then you got Kirk Cousins who's probably going to throw it up. But the key, I might just look real close to this game. The Raiders aren't that good in run stopping. And if the Redskins can run it exactly like they ran it, I think they have a chance to win. But ifs don't get wins. I got the Raiders. And the Monday night game, we got my Cowboys versus the Cardinals. I feel like this is the perfect bounce back game for the Dallas Cowboys in their running game. You got a team that their best run stuffer is way in Jacksonville, Calais Campbell. And I think that this is the game where they can get things popping, man. I feel like, you know, this is the game where everybody can be calm, you know, because if they don't, it's gonna be panic. I gotta talk people off the ledge again, you know. It's gonna be hell and high water if Zeke is not able to run against the Cardinals. Then we just pretty much just gonna have to question a lot of shit. And then we want to look back at the other game like, oh, nigga, did we well, there were really holes right there. And what were you doing? But I got the Cowboys winning this game, not, you know, in dramatic fashion, but this is a really good bounce back game for them. And let's hope I do just as good as last week, man, because, you know, I'm not really prone to good starts when it comes to NFL picks. I like to stay above 60%. Right now, I'm 23-9, 719 winning percentage. I'm 3 behind the leader. Coming for you, Rodgers. But, you know, that's been this week, man. That's been this week's show, episode number 10. You can catch it on YouTube. I'm going to post it on YouTube. I'm going to share it. You know, basketball season is fast approaching, and I'm definitely going to get into some hockey, or at least try to get into some hockey. Find a stream where I can watch some hockey. I like hockey, man. And of course, the baseball playoffs is coming. You know, wild card races, pennant races is coming. I'm gonna see if I can get into a little bit more of that, because I know I got baseball fans out there. But that's been this week episode this week, man. I'll see you next week on Thursday. We're gonna react from week 3. We're gonna preview for week 4. You know how we do it. And if anything goes down, we're gonna cover it. You know how we do it. You have been listening to the Chris Rocket Podcast. You have a nice week. Get out of here.